I was 15 feet from this guy, but I was safely in a Land Rover, right? If I had not been, I would have been a little stressed out, right? My adrenal cortex would have been squirting out cortisol, the stress hormone, right, as I saw this guy. This is an adaptive response. We undergo some sort of acute stressor. Our adrenal glands go into action. They squirt cortisol. We get in a physiological state that prepares us for the sorts of things that we're likely to have to do to adapt to the stressor, okay? One of the truly remarkable things about reading a story is that, and again, when you're engaged with the story, you get a major activation of your HPA axis, your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. This is the classic stress response. It's the system that regulates stress, but it's also essential in the control of the immune system, mood, and sexuality and energy, right? And I think that this is the foundation, the physiological foundation of that feeling when you're engaged in a story and you're really nervous. I mean, reading Flight Behavior, I'm just so anxious about what's going to happen to Della Robbia again, you know, because what new humiliation of being poor in America is she going to have to endure, right? And it's that feeling of needing to turn the page. This is this activation of the HPA axis, okay? It's cool. Is it useful instrumentally? And I have to give props out to my Stanford colleague, Robert Sapolsky. Many of you are probably familiar. But he's an incredible public speaker and just a huge intellect. Has been a good mentor to me. Why do we care about cortisol other than it's kind of cool that you get this physiological response to reading a story? It turns out that stress opens people's minds to behavior change. The right kind of stress opens people's minds to behavior change. University College London psychologist, neuroscientist, Tali Sharot is most famous. She has a fairly recent book on changing people's minds. And she's quite famous for her technical work on what's called a positivity bias. Okay, so that you're faced with information that comes at you from the world. You have prior beliefs about what the world is like. And when you get information that's good news relative to your desires, you take that and you say, good, my hypothesis is supported. And when you get bad news, you kind of ignore it. You don't pay as much attention to it, which seems a little paradoxical. It seems like for a survival algorithm, you'd want to learn more from bad news. That's the way I think about these things. But it turns out that isn't the way a lot of people go about doing it, until you put them under stress. When you put people under stress, when you give them some sort of like one of these psychologists sort of like funny things that you do, you tell them that they're going to have to give a public lecture after they do your test or something like that. It turns out you open people's minds to both good news and bad news, and they behave like proper Bayesians. They update their priors in a rational kind of way. Isn't that cool? And that means that they've had their HPA axis activated. It means that they've got that cortisol response. And that's exactly what good fiction does to you. Is it possible that there's a physiological foundation for good fiction changing people's valence bias, right? Their willingness to accept good and bad news? It's a hypothesis.